It's an areological, autoerotical, tubular, bovular joy. An exposular, regional, bachinal, pouchular, fun for girl and boy. A latissimal, dorsical, hung like a horsical, caliphalygical ball.
The most bunular, funula.
Fruit of the lumula.
Frenchical, tongular.
Wabada, bobular, fungular, bunular, fruit of the lumula, frenchical, tongular, wabada, bobular, vesical, orbical, snorkel, subobular, tosabachicular ball. Hey!
Hey guys, how's the movie?
Oh, it's breastica, bubical, chestica, mammical, pendular, globular. Oh, for crying out loud, movie sound.
There we go.
Siblings. We're talking. This is the Siblings podcast.
Yes.
Talking about that place in Brazil where all the twins are. The whole island full of twins.
The Twins Islands?
No, we're not talking about that. I first want to mention the thing I told you about earlier. The other night I was on Facebook and I saw somebody, a mutual friend of ours, put up a rest in peace to somebody with their name and everything. Somebody had passed away.
Harley Race.
Yeah, rest in peace, Harley Race.
Yeah.
Shout out Harley Race and Vader. He's managing Vader up in heaven now.
He is.
Beating the shit out of Owen or something.
Probably.
So this, I see somebody passed away on Facebook, so naturally, maybe not naturally, but I click on the link.
Okay.
Do you do that?
I remember this. No, I don't, but I'm that asshole. I just scroll past that too. I don't give a shit.
I didn't know who the person was, but I do it out of a morbid curiosity, I guess, is what you would call it. I'm sure a lot of people do it. But anyway, this girl, she posted a meme that said, if I pay my rent and die, you better prop me up on the couch because I want to get my money's worth.
To the 31st of that month or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next day she killed herself.
What? No, it was like 3 days later.
No, it was the next day.
Was it
Yes.
She killed herself?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
What?
She put that meme up and killed herself, which is fucking hilarious and very sad as well.
I suppose.
I've never given much thought to they say that check on your happy friends, like Robin Williams killed himself and he's the happiest guy, but that's a good example.
That's actually a guy I used to work with down at my job. His name is Jody. He was like a really upbeat person. Always went out hiking.
Shout out Jody.
Always went out hiking and stuff, and he actually killed himself a couple of years ago.
Was he hiking?
I don't know.
It wasn't a 411 thing, was it?
Who the fuck knows? Could have been. No, it wasn't.
No, but I've never thought about that much, but they say check on your happy friends, and if that girl was funny enough to pull off a ridiculous joke like that, kill herself and make a joke about it with a meme, like if she had that faculty to,
right,
like she probably had a good personality and was outgoing and funny and stuff like that. And
it's a good thing most of my friends are miserable.
But yeah, that's something. Yeah, that was something. What a way to go, man.
I do remember you sending that.
Holy cow.
Jeez.
Rest in peace. That's nuts. Can you imagine the guy that made that meme if somebody told him, like, listen, that stupid meme that you made, somebody posted that and then fucking killed himself to multiply the comedic effect of the meme. That would be a weird day for that person. Like, something I made was an instrument in somebody's farewell to the world.
But now it's well known.
Yeah, maybe it will be. And the next day,
it clearly is, because I fucking, like, you sent it to me.
5 days later, that meme has 60 crying faces on it. 60 people added crying faces to that.
Yeah, how many likes, though?
Only like 10 or 12. That was before that, too.
Oh, all right.
And then a girl commented and said something like, that's so bad, but it's so funny. And then, like, somebody put a crying face on that, too. Like, come on, leave it alone. That was days ago. That girl put that on there, or the day before. But yeah, that sucks. Suicide, that's a fucked up thing. It's almost never funny. If like a pedophile hangs himself in jail, that's hilarious. If a terrorist tries to blow himself up and just his thing accidentally goes off and he kills himself and a bunch of other terrorists, that's funny.
Dave Attell.
Suicide can be funny.
That fucking line he's got, he's like, stabbings aren't funny, beatings aren't funny, mimes aren't funny. But for some reason, beating and stabbing a mime, that's fucking hilarious.
It sounds like an Anthony Jeselnik joke.
It could be.
All right, so we're talking about horror movies in general today. Another horror movie.
Yeah, just
podcast.
to generalize, just. I
like the broad
kind of
topic
lean back
of this
kind of deal.
I like broads, not so much their topics.
Or the top.
I like their top tits. Oh,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, we're just gonna like the general like history of kind of run down where we got started, where it is now.
First thing I want to talk about is one of my favorite horror movies.
Wait, before we go on to that, before we get to the first one, know what the first horror movie ever was?
Yeah.
On record, anyway.
Yeah. It was a 10-minute French film called The Haunted Castle or something like that. It was
The
about
Devil's Castle.
It was about
a
a
3-minute film.
Okay.
It was Les Manoirs du...
Well, la-di fucking da. And I've got it on good authority that the French are assholes anyway.
I think they are. I probably butchered that, but...
He did a few movies like
fucking
that.
fourth word to it, I can't remember. But yeah, it was a 3-minute video.
The first, like...
Bats and witches and devils and everything else in it, yeah.
One of his, maybe it wasn't one of his, but one of the movies in that vein, one of the first ones.
1896,
one of the first
by the way.
8 or so, was it?
Yeah.
The synopsis of it was a group of guys try to photograph a ghost, but they're not able to, and it throws chairs at them. That's the whole movie.
Yeah. Oh, that's a fucking hardcore match if I ever heard one. That's the first recorded hardcore match as well. That's a twofer.
I want to talk about my favorites. One of the first ever Japanese horror movies.
All right.
1889, Jizzo the Spook.
What?
Jizzo the Spook. Wait, no.
Legit.
It sounds more fucked up, but let me put it in that accent.
Okay.
Jizzo the Spook.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about now. You know, since you did that in the last podcast, all fucking week I've been talking like that to myself in that fucking accent.
I was doing it tonight.
I can't fucking stop. I was like, man, this is fucking just whatever.
It's in an episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force when the alien is trying to learn English, and he says, Super high-tech fruit juice. But no, it's Jizzo the Spooker, so that's the way it's translated.
Yeah.
It's about some kind of amulet that's guards children.
1889, huh?
Yeah, it was one of the first Japanese horror films. I haven't seen it, but I just thought the name was kind of funny, and I figured I'd
So
write it
then
down.
that predates the recorded 1896 French horror movie.
Yeah. Unless it was 1898 and I wrote it down wrong, which is quite possible too.
Maybe. Well, I'll fact check that.
Yeah.
I guess. But either way, whatever. They're fucking old.
Mm-hmm. And the synopsises of them are funny. Just
No, what's the synopsis of that one? It's a whole rundown. Give me a summary.
There's in Japanese culture. There's
short story.
Give
me like a couple paragraphs. No, just give me one.
Haiku.
Yeah, give me a haiku or a kuhai or just a hi.
I'm more familiar with haiku.
More like a hello. You know, kind of a sideways greeting.
It's actually not really that. It's not really that interesting.
Give me that kind of. No.
No. So I've been watching a lot of Tom Savini.
Wait, you didn't tell me anything about it.
Oh, the movie. Okay, yeah. The Jizo is in Japanese culture. It's an amulet that protects children or something like that. And then this movie deals with
Godzilla.
This movie deals with one of those which is cursed.
That's Gamera. Gamera is protector of children. Anyway,
and it's cursed. It's probably 3 minutes long. So it's probably the whole movie. They're like, "Oh no, it's cursed." And then it's over.
I protect children, but I am cursed.
Then he jumps up in the air and freezes like this, and then it's over.
That's right. And then there's some weird 70s. Well, that's the 70s. It's like 70 years later.
Goes into the future.
Jet Jaguar. That's a whole nother thing. Charlie Smith, you know.
Oh yeah, all right. The kaiju episode.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So you're more of a guy on these black and white movies than I am.
Right.
So let's hear all about them.
Okay, I thought that was going somewhere.
What is black and white?
It's a Michael Jackson song.
Why's it got to be so black and white? It shouldn't matter if you're black or white.
It shouldn't matter if you're black or white. But most of them are actually gray. All the movies are gray. Mm-hmm. Well, they... I guess the first recorded, like, full-length... It shouldn't even say full-length. It's the Edison... Edison production of Frankenstein, 1910, which wasn't anything
weird
like
makeup in that.
Yeah, it wasn't
questionable costume.
Yeah, it wasn't anything like Mary Shelley's novel. It wasn't anything.
No, she was
like
one of
the
the
Universal. That was that Frankenstein in that movie, is a silent movie. Clearly, 1910. It was made by a potion. If you watch it, there's a potion, and then it creates this monster Frankenstein. So there is no like digging up dead body parts or anything like that.
I understand that Mary Shelley and Edgar Allan Poe and somebody else were the 3 writers first accredited with really doing horror.
Bram Stoker.
Yeah. Yep. Doing horror writing.
Yeah.
And then the movies were adapted from that.
You know, it's like a lot of Poe's writings have not. Well,
The Pit and the Pendulum would make a fantastic movie.
you don't see
The
a
Red
lot
Mask
of
of
them.
Death, is that called?
You
right?
don't see a lot of them though. Like where you see a lot of, well, I shouldn't even say you see a lot of Mary Shelley and any of those, because like there's two notable ones, Dracula and Frankenstein, which the only reason why those are as big as they are because Universal got a hold of
You
them.
mean to tell me a broad invented Dracula and Frankenstein? A
Oh.
dingbat, a lady. That's awesome.
No, she didn't.
I didn't think so.
No, Bram Stoker came up with Dracula, which is just from Ivan the Terrible.
All right. Oh, the Vlad the Impaler?
We're Vlad the Impaler, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, that's from Vlad the Impaler, who reportedly would drink the blood of his victims and shit like that. Just
Yeah.
weird fucking off-the-wall shit.
People
but-
on spikes as you enter his castle and such.
Yeah, like Vigo the Carpathian. That's way.
Now, I've heard that these black and white movies would not be as enjoyable if they were colorized, as it would take away from the mood. Do you agree with that? Yeah.
absolutely. They have colorized. Well, I don't know about the old Universal movies, but they have colorized. Actually, yeah, I think they colorized Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of that colorized. I've seen.
I would think A Night of the Living Dead would be good colorized, but anything older
I
than
think
that.
didn't they do that?
Maybe that's why I'm saying
I
that.
think they did.
Anything older than that, I think they'd be fucking with it though.
I don't. To me, if it's black and white, don't leave it alone. Like, yeah, don't touch it.
Unless it's World War II footage or like a.
That's just kind of interesting.
Or right on the cusp, like A Night
I
of the
think
Living
that's
Dead,
where
you know?
I think that's where it started to take place. Like
Uh-huh.
the World War II footage.
When they started.
It's like, shit, we can do this. Like, what else can we? I don't think you should touch any black and white thing. Even the Night of the Living Dead, I'm like, just leave it as is. Just let it go. Let it be what it is. I guess, interesting to see.
Yeah.
But I think it would definitely take away from it, especially the old horror movies from the 20s and 30s, and then even into the 40s. Like, it just really takes away from it because those are atmospheric horror movies. So the black
music,
and white really,
the score and everything,
especially in the
that's been
silent
lost.
era. If you watch, well, because a lot of those black and white movies, the silent ones especially, when they were shown, they had an actual orchestra there playing the music. Like below in a
That's
pit,
fucking something.
in a pit below the
I'd
screen.
like to be on a half-eighth of mushrooms watching that for about 10 fucking minutes. Gotta get the fuck out of here.
What the fuck?
That pumpkin's looking at me.
Yeah, so I think it would just kind of take away from it. Like, it would be really something to go back then and watch them the way they're supposed to be watched, like with that full orchestra, and just to see the reaction. You really can't imagine it now because we're so numb to so many different horror genres. So now, like, you really have to have an appreciation for it, or just know what frame of mind to watch these movies in, because that's why I completely understand why a lot of people are not a fan of like the old black and white movies. They're just like, nah, it's that, because we've been spoiled. We really have. We're so spoiled now with movies.
I'd watch one if it was rainy out, about 30 degrees. It'd have to be a Tuesday. I'd have to be sick. I'd have to have like a little flu. I'd have to be under a blanket. You know, I'd have to have a black cat. I got a black cat. I'd have to have the black cat there for atmosphere, and then I could dig on one. But the conditions would have to be just right. You're right. Couldn't be too overcast or anything.
Yeah, it's too dark. Forget it. It's too light. Nope. Maybe tomorrow.
I got a head cold.
Yeah, this isn't the flu. This is just a sniffle. Not
So I
doing
understand Lon Chaney, who was the godfather of the effects makeup, a lot of the black and white benefited him also because of the ridiculous things those just crazy shit he would make his makeup with was all different colors.
Yeah, lighting and colors. His parents were evidently both deaf.
Yeah. No, deaf and dumb.
Were they deaf and dumb?
Deaf and because he would have to come home. He would come home from school and act things out to them.
Yeah. So he was like really right from the get-go bred for this, like that age in cinema. So
Well, they didn't have sign language back then, I don't think, so you can't really speak. I don't think that was developed yet.
I have no idea. I
don't know
I
either.
couldn't tell you that.
Helen Keller was just inventing it, I think, back then,
Yeah.
when she was hiding in the attic.
What? Deaf.
Shh, they'll hear you.
Yeah. So. So stupid.
I guess he would he would pry his nose up
Yep.
and paint his nostrils bigger and stuff like that.
Yep.
I heard
If you look real close, sometimes you can actually see the cables like that are actually going up over his head, holding his nose there.
Yeah.
You don't see them often, but they are there.
I've been watching a lot of Tom Savini stuff. I watched some video, and now it's been popping up on my YouTube. So I'm on a bit
He's
of a
jumping
kick.
forward quite a bit, but he's fucking awesome.
He's got his son is named Lon, and his son has a daughter named Cheney.
Really?
Yeah. And Tom Savini's your fucking grandfather, so he said that girl's gonna have some interesting conversations. She's gonna be an interesting person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What if she's normal? It just ends up being like a lawyer or something. Chef.
It'd be a shame.
Yeah, like, oh, such your lineage. Come
You
on.
could have a cool themed restaurant she could have a cool themed restaurant like
I always thought that, Empire Restaurant,
vegans
the
would
diner?
cry about it though if you had pigs you're chopping up
Good.
sauce in front of them.
Fuck. It's the whole point.
That would be awesome.
You know the
yeah.
Empire restaurant or the diner down in Herkimer?
Oh yeah.
You know how much shit they have all over the walls and everything there?
Yeah. Bunch of
I
goofy
thought
shit in the
that
walls.
would be awesome if they had, like, I went in there last time I was down there. I told Amanda, I was like, man, if I ever hit the lottery, like, it would be as a side thing. I wouldn't run it or anything. I would just own it and have someone else run it because I want nothing to do with the food industry. But I think it'd be awesome if there was, like, a diner like that, but everything in the inside was all horror and sci-fi, like fucking theme, everything. Movie posters from back in the day, full suits of shit, like have the old fucking replica of the 54
food
Godzilla.
that looks like something disgusting, like you can
Yeah,
have a whole
like
plate of
anything.
intestines with a heart on it, but it tastes like a lasagna or some shit.
Yeah, like I think the whole thing would be just themed like that. I think it'd be fucking awesome.
That would be cool.
It'd be quite an attraction. So,
Yeah.
but full like that place. When you go in, there's like no place left
You
on the
think
wall.
there'd be enough
Kinda
of a
like
market for it if there's all gore and shit like that?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that would be dope.
That
People
would be
would come
like
from far and wide
I
to
say
see it.
that would be one of those attraction kind of things. You're like, fuck, man, let's go to that one like fucking diner. It'd be like the same thing as like WWF New York.
You'd have
that-
brisket every day, and a
Fuck.
guy dressed like Leatherface with a fucking chainsaw cutting brisket, just screaming at people and waving it at people and shit.
Do that stupid part 2
You
dance.
grab a waitress, hang her on a meat hook. That would be sick. We gotta do this.
I know, but I think that would be great. Anyway,
Another time when I was earlier when I was thinking about the early horror movies, one of the things that I really enjoy was the use of scale as far as small buildings and
all the models, and miniatures, and stuff.
yeah, and guys in Godzilla suits and the amazing colossal man, and they just have an iguana walking through a city, then cut to like people running through the streets all panicked.
A lot of blue screen or whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. It may be
Blue screen was it back then?
I don't know if it's blue screen or green screen. It was one. Actually, I don't even think it was a screen. I think that was just like chopping
Canvas.
film and shit like
Oh,
that.
okay.
And I don't know. I'd have to check that, but I'm not like a film connoisseur and how it's done and everything. I just know what I like. So
They called
like
that
genres and-
trick films. I think they would. One of them, an early one, they found out how to film with X-rays. So it was a few minutes of a movie of just people that were skeletons. Like they got up and danced and conversed with each other, and people would sit in a theater and not know what they were, not know what it
just watching skeletons dance.
Yeah, and
Like,
it was
what the fuck?
it was really unnerving to people. But that's around the time that visual tricks started making their way in for ghost movies and shit.
back
that.
in like I think the 40s and whatnot, when they had like skeleton rumbling seats in theaters and shit like that. And
Oh, really?
skeletons and people grabbing people behind watching, like the movie The Tingler, stuff like that. And they actually going to the theater was like an event in itself.
You have to sign a waiver for that nowadays.
Yeah, because they touched my vagina.
I've got a vagina condition.
Now you have it too. Oh, it's HIV. Can't do anything fun nowadays. Someone would be pissed off and whine and complain about it because we're in a society full of... Anyway.
Okay, O'Reilly, take it down a notch.
Yep, all right.
So these horror movies, of course, play on people's real fears, and people would say that Jaws ruined the ocean for people. What do you think? So, well, a lot of the early settings were castles and the woods, and
Well, I don't think so much... I think the early horror movies was... I don't know. Again, this is like you'd have to be back in that time to really kind of, I guess, truthfully answer that. At least I would, just sitting here. everything. Yeah, I guess everything was very gothic and back then. Dark settings, basic cobwebs and stuff like that. Cliche things now, but at the time, I suppose, yeah, everyone's fears were, I think, more superstitious. That's definitely one. Back in like the early 1900s and like late 1800s, a lot more superstition. So I think that's where that comes from. A lot of mythologies. That's one.
Oh yeah, the mythologies, the monsters of that.
Yeah.
Birthed Godzilla and such, I'm sure. King Kong and all that, right?
No, Godzilla was a direct reaction to the atomic bomb. That was a symbol of the destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, or Hiroshima. The scales on Godzilla at that time were meant to look like the same keto burns or whatever the hell they were on the victims of the two bombings.
Keloids?
Yeah, where they all blistered up and shit like that.
Okay.
That's what Godzilla's scales were originally. Yeah, they were
pretty metal.
Yeah. So his first incarnation was. That's why I say the first Godzilla is almost a horror movie. So.
Well, yeah, it's a monster movie. Monster movies are in the early. They were side and side with horror movies.
The first one, it was such a serious tone. Like, if you watch the original, not the American cut 1956 Godzilla, but the 1954 Japanese Gojira.
Okay.
Way different. Like, way different atmosphere. A lot darker, a lot more serious. So, yeah, but that's in the 50s. That's when the whole nuclear atomic thing was taken off and everyone was afraid of that. So, but yeah, the early days I think was more superstition and just mythology, stuff like that. Mostly superstition. I mean, if you look at Wolfman was the 40s, but Frankenstein,
the Wolfman.
Someone playing God, Dracula, that's more superstition.
Someone playing God.
Yeah, Frankenstein.
Oh,
the doctor.
I thought you meant some actor played God.
Yeah, he did. And
like, yeah, Cagney played God in this movie.
Yeah,
turned this guy to salt. So, do you think there have been stories of mummies coming back to life throughout time, or do you think that there hasn't been, and just one guy was like, "Oh, they're always writing about castles. How about I write about a fucking pyramid?"
That was the first movie of the Universal horror cycle that wasn't based on a novel. The Mummy.
But has there been tales and stories of mummies coming to life throughout time, or do you think somebody really cashed
I don't think so. Well, there has
been
been lots of stories of the mummies, curses and whatnot, and that's basically what the movie was like a side thing of the mummy's curse, but that movie was actually just a fucking love story. I mean, the first Mummy, there was no mummy going around killing anyone. No one wrapped up in bandages. That wasn't in the first one at all. Really, of that whole series, of the Mummy series, the first movie had really nothing to do with any of the ones that came after. It was its own thing. But you kind of...
I think I'm into mummies now. I never thought about how cool they are. They're pretty fucking metal, you know? It's like a zombie that they wrapped up and it just decayed for hundreds of years. It's just...
Yeah, the Mummy and Frankenstein both came out in 32.
It would have fallen the fuck apart, though, if it was that old and the skeleton started moving. It just all turned to dust. You know, but...
All you have to do is turn an industrial fan on.
They do. In the cartoons, if you take the bandage off, they turn into dust, right?
Yeah, you turn an industrial fan on, blow the thing away.
I'm not into mummies anymore, dude.
Or a fucking shop vac. I don't do them in.
They didn't have those back then.
Fuck you, Mummy.
They didn't even have shops back then.
They had straws, didn't they?
Built shit in the backyard.
Who invented the fucking straw?
The Wizard of Oz. It was the straw man. Now the straw was probably invented for when your father kicks you in the face for not chopping the wood and killing the pig or something, breaks your jaw. It's probably a medical thing. The invention of the straw.
Possibly.
I don't know. So what do we move on to from... I just like the scale tricks, man. Wasn't there one with a hamster like running through a city? It was a real fucking movie.
I think that was...
I know it was South Park, but wasn't there a real thing like that?
It was... I think that was The Incredible Shrinking Man. Something like that. It might not have been a hamster. It might have been a mouse or something.
Oh, so he was small.
Yeah.
That's a great...
It was the same effect.
We're going to turn this industry on its head, see? You've seen giant cats and giant monsters, but what about a little man?
Literally it was the same thing.
Same technique.
Just, yeah, that's awesome. Love that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that scale thing is awesome. You know what's really awesome when they make the giant monsters? The proper way to do it, I think, is one, shooting from the ground up gives the whatever monster,
Wrestling
like colossal
101.
man or whatever, makes them look bigger. Yeah, that's the first thing you do in any like filming wrestling. This guy's a big guy, film up so he looks menacing. 2, shoot it in slow motion. Because watching, there's nothing worse than if you watch a monster movie and you're shooting even right angle, wrong angle, whatever, but he's moving around at like a normal pace. It just takes completely away from the entire scene. Like,
Oh, you mean like have him dramatically swatting through and just smashing
yeah,
shit
if
in a
it's shot
horror.
in slow motion, like a higher frame rate, so it's walking slow. Because when you watch, if you imagine something large, 150, 300 feet, whatever, however tall, walking, like the strides are going to be really long strides, so it's going to take longer than me or you walking around.
Okay, yeah, they're lighter on their feet, and I'm sure you can view at regular speed more of if a building gets destroyed and it's supposed to be a 100,000-pound chunk of concrete, which in reality is a piece of foam, and that's just falling to the floor, just going hitting the floor.
Yeah.
That's not nearly as dramatic. So your brain will
That's
be
what
able
it's
to,
all about, is the drama. I mean, any horror movie or sci-fi or whatever, it's all about the drama, suspense. So.
And in the regular speed, like I've seen stuff where a guy in a phone, like a Godzilla suit, will be doing some shit and his tail will be bouncing, jiggling all around and shit, and that doesn't look good either.
You know, it doesn't look good either when the Godzilla tail fucking rips.
Oh yeah,
I've seen that in one of them. Like the tail's like half fucking ripped. It's like a suit that had been used a few times, and like so the tail's half ripped.
has he ever grown a new one?
Oh yeah, every movie.
Yeah. What path? Tell me about what path you think monster movies have taken since then. They kind of dulled out a little bit, huh? As far as big, 500-foot
It's
tall.
like pro wrestling.
Jurassic Park is a monster movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's like pro wrestling. It has its ups and
Cloverfield.
downs.
Okay. Oh, they made reincarnations of Godzilla. Godzilla
Yeah.
2000 with the wallflowers on the soundtrack.
No, that was 98. Godzilla 2000 is something different. That had Rob Zombie in the soundtrack.
Well, la-dee-da.
It's fucking awesome.
Well, that sounds actually better than the wallflowers. Not a lot of things do, but Rob Zombie's one of them.
It does. it was better. It was classic Godzilla movie. Yeah, it's ups and downs. I'd say really since 2008 when Cloverfield came out, Cloverfield kind of brought it back. There was
Transformers.
There was the.
That's a fucking monster
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could consider it. You could throw it in there, and that was huge.
Yeah.
There was Peter Jackson's 2005 remake of Kong, which
all right.
that was good. A little long, but good. Yeah, then there was the Transformers series. There's Jurassic Park, which is gone pretty steadily from 93 on. There's been gaps here and there.
Fucking Mech Gundam.
Pacific Rim.
No, yeah.
Pacific Rim, the first one was awesome. The second one was not.
What's that Japanese anime where they're in big robots, always fighting?
Gundam Power Rangers?
Yeah. Yeah, go with that. That's a monster fucking thing.
It is a
Power
monster
Rangers.
show.
So is
It's a
all
monster
that.
show.
Even the cartoons, Gundam Wing or some shit. Where
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about that show. I know they're mechs.
Yeah,
That's about it.
Used to be on Adult Swim. Charlie knows.
I bet you he does.
He's beat those games.
He
He's
probably
probably
has.
playing one right now.
He probably is. What if Charlie's never played any of these games? He's just one of those people that says, I beat that.
He just watches people beat him on YouTube. He's like, I could never
he,
do that.
he watches Let's Plays and like,
Watches 8-year-olds beat games on YouTube.
beat it. He just skips through the video to the end and be like, oh, I beat that one too. Like,
Like he,
wow, you beat fucking 3 games in a day?
He'll just skip chapters in books. Or,
He
no,
reads-
no, sorry.
He reads the end.
Magazines.
Yeah, yeah, so yeah, Power Rangers definitely a monster thing. I guess the Gundam anime thing, but I'm not really going to include like anime. I'm pretty much staying away from TV. But yeah, Cloverfield.
So
I guess series had come out, and then that goes into the 2014 Godzilla, the 2017 Kong Skull Island. So that whole
Well, yeah, they've existed throughout time. The Godzilla and
that whole MonsterVerse is out, and like I said, the Pacific Rim franchise. There's a couple other movies.
iRobot.
Is that
My Giant?
No, there was the one where that woman like controls a giant fucking monster or something like that, not even knowing. I don't know if it was Sandra Bullock or someone who plays in it. It just came out like last year.
Bird Box.
Maybe it wasn't her. I don't know. It was.
I love Sandra Bullock.
I can't remember what the fucking movie was, but this woman, like her move, like however she moves, this giant monster moves somewhere else, and it's on TV. And
So the monster's like vacuuming and making sandwiches, but it's destroying fucking cities.
yeah, it's something like that.
Awesome.
And I wanted to see it, but I keep forgetting about it. But I'll have to find the movie. I'll find out what it is. I'll put it up on screen.
No, you won't. Nothing will be there. It's just going to show the same shit. All right, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre was in color. Was that the first movie that was like a slasher with just a crazy serial killer antagonist, or was it a black and white movie with just a murderous?
Technically, if you want to be technical, Creature from the Black Lagoon is a slasher.
Well, that's a monster with gills and shit. I mean, like a serial killer, like a man.
So is Jason Voorhees.
But they're colorized. I'm trying to think if there was a black and white movie with a human as the killer, or if Texas Chainsaw was the true birth of
Norman
the slasher.
Bates.
That was in black and white? Okay, there you go.
First Psycho, Norman Bates.
All right.
He was a slasher.
Now, what can you think of any horror movies that were not available in the black and white format that came to be after? There's probably black and white sci-fi, the mutant, space movies
That weren't black and white? That were black and white?
World of the Worlds.
Of sci-fi that were black and white? Fucking, where do I start? Day the Earth Stood Still.
They were all horror movies.
The War of the Worlds was color. The first War of the Worlds, that was colorized. Oh, wait, that were horror movies?
Yeah.
Wait, sci-fi or horror?
Horror movies.
Okay.
Sci-fi horror movies. I'm trying to think if there was...
all right, I know what you're talking about.
Has every genre of horror got its roots from black and white? Maybe.
I guess
zombies
you
did.
could. All right,
Zombies,
minus
slashers,
Godzilla,
aliens, monsters. Humans.
You could technically, I guess, say
Mummy.
any movie that preyed on like our fear at the time. So, like Tarantula, Them with the giant ants, because they were more serious tone. Maybe not so much Tarantula, but Them definitely. The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which came out what 52 or
no 51, 3? Idiot.
It might have been. It was right before Godzilla, so I think it was 52 or 3. Yeah, those were more serious tone because those are some of the earliest like sci-fi movies, but they really kind of preyed on fears at the time. Sci-horror wasn't like a big thing. I think they were all geared as sci-horror, but especially now you look back.
Yeah, the aliens
they're
are
really
probably monsters.
They're really campy and shit. So like everyone just considers it a sci-fi monster.
Guy in a gorilla mask is the alien and
fuck it.
Okay, yeah.
What the hell movie? Oh shit! What the hell is the name of the movie? The Romance. Like you are a human, I am a Roman, and it's one of those.
Flash Gordon.
Ed Wood fucking movies that like just there's
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah, like one of those where it's just pumped out. I can't remember the name of it, but it's one of those movies. It was a gorilla suit with like a fucking underwater fucking helmet on.
Of course, just shit they had sitting around.
Yeah,
he invents a fucking underwater helmet but no pants. Just leave our dicks hanging out, but we need this to survive.
What is that? It's an eyeball. They just paint it.
So let's go back to talking about some of the settings for these. How they say, like I said, Jaws was the ocean one. Then there was the woods and space. Space would be Alien, I guess, is what really would.
Yeah,
that's a real
absolutely.
hardcore.
That was. I mean, there was all the fucking Alien movies in the 50s, 40s, more 50s and 60s. But really, the first space movie that really was a true horror
With
movie
some
was
gore and shit.
absolutely Alien. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And for me personally, I think unless you. I like Event Horizon a lot, but it doesn't touch Alien, I don't think.
Yeah, Event Horizon was The Exorcist in space. Like, it was The Exorcist mixed with ghosts.
Space horror is hard to do, but it's good sometimes, real good.
Yeah, the only two notable ones I can think of is Alien, the first Alien, and Event Horizon.
Yeah.
strict opinion, but I think they were both fucking great.
Hell yeah.
Creepy as shit, and yeah, both of them are very claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good. They become corny too easily. Some of these horror space movies, because it's in concept, it's cool. You're in a vessel, and you can't escape out of there. And if you'll die if you just go outside at all.
Yeah.
You know, that's cool. Yeah, but they get too over the top with it and too stupid. And I also have psychic abilities. It's the year 2021, and it's a movie. It's, you know. You didn't know I was a psychic.
Oh, I didn't. Well, the plot is thickened.
So I have here talking about the real fears that it played on. Possession, religious stuff.
My favorite. My favorite reaction.
Disease. Zombies could be seen as a disease type of fear that is people.
Absolutely.
I like Cabin Fever a lot.
The newer zombie movies, yeah, they were absolutely disease.
But even back then, you could say that if you were bit, that's transmitting through saliva and such.
Well, that's not saying that that's not what it was back then.
Yeah.
But back then it wasn't geared for cause back then germs weren't this fucking everyone's afraid of them back in the 60s and 70s. Oh, not even the 80s. People were not fucking afraid of germs all the time.
Well, in the 80s, I beg to differ. I think people became suddenly very afraid of germs in the 80s.
Well,
and getting bit or sharing things or dicks with anybody.
All right. Well, AIDS.
Yes.
Once AIDS came out.
I think in the 80s people were really
well, that's
into
when
that.
it became relevant. Anyway.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, when you get into the 90s and 2000s especially.
What about the Crazies? Wasn't that an old movie where people?
Yeah.
How was that communicated? Was that a communicable disease?
It was kind of the same deal as it was fucking another George Romero movie.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of the same thing as Night of the Living Dead and whatnot, except instead of the Living Dead, it was more like
people just wanted to fucking kill you.
Rage
with axe.
virus, which is exactly what 28 Days Later was.
Yeah, they were fast. Great, another great movie.
Well, no, the Crazies I don't think were fast.
I remember just parts of the remake, really.
Yeah, I have that. I haven't watched that in such a long time.
So I also have down things we touched on: fears, serial killers, animals like the ants, and monsters, obviously.
Yeah. The religious horror movies. That one, I'd talk about that one. I think my all-time favorite for any kind of, well, we won't call them religious horror movies. Call them spiritual horror movies.
Ghosts, possession, and such.
The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I saw that in the theater for some fucking reason.
That one was my favorite because that one left it open for complete interpretation. Whether you believe in any kind of religion or spiritual anything, or whether you don't, they show it's a whole court case, and they show both aspects of the medical side.
Oh, it was formatted with the court case. That goes great into a question I had later.
It shows the spiritual side. It shows the medical side, the grounded, and the whole that. They go through and they don't veer one way or another the entire movie, and at the end they just leave it completely open to interpretation. I was it was done phenomenally in my opinion.
I remember more and more the more you talk about it. Yeah. Usually those movies I'll watch once and forget them and they all blend into one thing in my mind, but that one does actually.
For those they do, but that one is obviously because I love it. That one stuck out big time.
I couldn't even pick a favorite out of that genre. I think
it's hard because especially now you go on Netflix and anything. Every other day, there's a new one coming out. It's the now, especially the possession of,
and they're not guaranteed to be good because the budget is just shit. Yeah, on them sometimes. Have you ever seen Ringu, the Japanese Ring?
No, I never was really a big fan of The Ring. I didn't really care for The Grudge.
No, God, The Grudge marked a horrible time in movies for me.
A lot of people fucking swear by that movie, though.
It was a PG-13 horror movie, and I remember being...
I'm fine with PG-13 horror.
I wasn't. How old were we when that came out? That was fucking insulting to me.
2003 or 4, I think.
In 2003, when I'm fresh out of high school, I'm going to go see a horror movie with no tits, no blood, and no fuck cunt words. I want to see some tits getting fucked with some cunts and some blood.
Bloody cunts. I'm fine, yeah. Fine with PG-13 horror
somebody's going to get killed and they're not going to go,
if you can pull off a PG horror movie, I'm on board. As long as it's good. That's all I ask for. I don't need this, and this.
That was a topic of discussion of top 10 best PG-13 horror movies. I can't think of any, I guess. I don't know.
The Grudge. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be...
The Room.
Wait, like, with Tommy Wiseau.
Fucking Polish people scare the fucking shit out of me, bro.
I did not eat her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
I just wanted to set you up for that because I knew you had a good impression.
I like that movie. That movie's so bad.
Pitching softballs. No, I meant the one with actually him in it. Frankenstein, actually, they call him.
Do they really?
Yeah. It's like, I do not look like Frankenstein. People, it's one of the things one of the criticisms he deals with in the movie with what's his name in it.
Hi, Mark. How's your sex life? Everyone betray me.
So these fears that these movies play on as they advance to the future, what do you think are some modern things? One of them has been technology movies like Swim Fan, or they have people shooting texts to each other in movies. Maximum Overdrive is a really early example of technology. That's just...
What was that, 86, I think?
That shows how the people in this genre were even back then just like, we'll do this, we'll have them fight this, we'll have them fight tech. What can they fight next?
It's like I said,
technology, birds, a blob.
When we did the 80s horror podcast, I mentioned it there. Like, the 80s were... Companies were so much more lenient when it came to, like, just pumping out movies back then. It's like, I got an idea to do this movie. And they're like, all right, fuck it.
Great, here's 50 gallons of blood.
Yeah.
Half a pig. You can eat it or use it in the movie or fuck it. Or
here's your budget. Your budget's $450,000. Go do your thing. It's like, fuck yeah. And, like, then you get all these crazy movies that maybe they bombed, but now, like, a majority of them now are fucking cult classics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a shit ton of them that are cult classics now. And they have such a hardcore following.
Made a lot made for a lot less than $450,000.
Yeah,
also.
like, how many of these modern movies in the last, let's say, even 20 years are going to be cult classics?
None of them, because they fucking suck, and half of it's
I'll give,
CGI
like,
blood splatter and the garbage actors. And
but back then it was garbage actors and shit like that. Like, that wasn't the point.
No, but it was a high value production. It was polished. You know, there's some fucking value.
Not even you can't even say it's high value production, because look at some of the CGI in those movies.
A theatrical release.
It's fucking
it was a theatrical release as opposed to being some shit that got sold to Netflix for $1,000.
Yeah, that
college
was one
kids
thing.
made or some shit.
But one, I think the thing is practical effects, and that's a big one. And two is originality. And there's a lot of independent filmmakers and stuff that go to, like, the Sundance film festivals and stuff like that, and you'll find a lot of awesome movies, a lot of throwback too, like the Hatchet series. Mm-hmm. That's complete throwback to all
slasher,
that. Yeah, and that's awesome. A lot of these found footage movies, now there's a shit ton of them, but
yep.
The Blue Hole, Blair Witch Project, that was a big marketing campaign. Yeah, VHS. The first Paranormal Activity, which is all word of mouth. That's how that one got big.
Yeah, that movie pissed me off. They showed you all the good parts in the fucking trailer. There was only
a lot of movies do that. But that was a movie that was word of mouth.
And the ghost didn't even look at the chick when she was in the shower.
You did.
That was in the shower scene. It sure fucking should have been. As well.
You would know. But yeah. Aside from
they have to be creative and find all sorts of different
all the movies that come out is exactly that. It's all like Amazon Prime, Hulu, or whatever streaming service. They're all just straight, not even straight to DVD or Blu-ray. It's straight to fucking streaming service.
Mashups, dude. Vampires versus zombies in space on a bus and shit like that.
Yeah.
A submarine full of piranhas. Like, why the piranhas got to be in a submarine?
But I think that's a whole nother genre in and of itself. Is how shitty can we make this movie and make, like, the new Sharknado or whatever?
Do you know what the new Sharknado is?
No. Is there another one?
No, but it has the blonde-haired asshole from 90210, Ian Ziering, I think it's that guy. But it's
with the curly hair thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Wasn't he in a couple of them? I think
it's Corpse Tsunami or something. It's like a wave full of zombies that washes up. I think that's what it is. I just saw a commercial for it on Sci-Fi.
But you see, I think they have to be self-aware, and they're purposely putting out this shit.
At this point, they are. Yeah.
Like, the first one was them attempting, and after, like, the first one, maybe even first one or two, Then they're like, you know what? Let's just go in the opposite direction. See how shitty we can get.
Yeah.
And then, of course, people are like, this is great. It's fucking awful. Which is cool, but at the same time, that devalues the entire genre.
I saw part of one of them on TV, and they're like, quick, get in that Dodge Dart. And there's like a nice-ass Dodge Dart sitting there, and they take it through all these adventurous situations, and it never gets damaged once, and it's always featured as if it's a fucking car commercial. Yeah, that's trash. Some of the things that the new age fears.
They're like, you can use this Dodge Dart, but not a scratch.
Yeah.
Fuck.
If you notice in
we'll take your money.
In Ted 2, I think it is, when they jump a car and it hammers through the side of a barn, and then it takes no damage, and overnight, like, they get somebody to take it out, and it's fine. And you can tell that, like, you didn't even crack the windshield. Like, we know that you have a deal with this fucking car company.
On the fucking fender.
It's like how video games used to license, car companies used to license their names to video games, so you could drive a BMW 580i or whatever.
And like the top
but it won't dent.
Whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it won't take any damage.
Yeah.
They do the same shit with vehicles in movies, like, stupid.
That kind of scares it too.
So politics, The Purge, I think, is kind of a political horror movie.
I haven't watched any Purge.
Yeah, I saw one of them.
Never really sparked any interest. Didn't really care. I heard about it. Everyone's.
Can you think of any other political horror movies? Because talking about playing on people's fears, in the future, I think they will.
Political horror movies.
What if there was a movie about murderous border jumping Mexicans, and it was like a horror movie made by some Republican or some shit? This Mexicans smoking desert reefer and raping their women and shit.
Raping the border patrol.
Modern day propaganda piece.
Losing them. They're raping border patrol and fucking leaving them there to rot in the fucking sun as they're found later, like fucking Tremors movie.
God damn it. Let me guess, they found another cactus in his ass. No, Chief, it was 2. Those sick bastards.
I'm tired of these motherfucking Mexicans on this motherfucking border. Yeah, you definitely have to get Sam Jackson in that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know of any political horror movie. I guess The Purge. I don't know.
One thing that this is kind of a reach, but it's a type of horror movie that I like a lot that fucks with me. I like movies that play on people's fear of going to foreign countries and having horrible things happen to them.
Turistas.
Yes, and Hostel.
Yeah.
Yeah, Turistas was awesome, and that's a legitimate fear. It's the guy that got caned in Singapore.
Absolutely.
You know,
there was what was that one girl that in Aruba that happened, didn't it? That one girl went missing in Aruba maybe 10 years ago.
And harvested her organs.
I can't even remember if they ever found her or not. I know that was one, though, that she was allegedly kidnapped.
Oh, she's still alive.
On vacation.
Most of her body is still alive, and 15 different people down in fucking Aruba. Japanese businessman is using her kidney right now.
Yeah, black market organ trafficking.
Japanese businessman is using her intestines to drink the piss of a 10-year-old Taiwanese boy off of a coffee table.
You think he's happy about that? You think he's happy he's got that?
The Japanese guy? Yeah.
What do you think he would
It's probably a kink for him. He paid more because the girl was underage, and he wants an underage girl's intestines to drink underage piss through. That's all the businessmen. But these movies play on the true fact that the human life has less of a meaning in every other country aside from America. Yeah. Because they're more savage, and life is not as good over there. And they're not as humanized as we are.
Which just shows our short-sightedness. It's fucking, which is glorious all. Like,
well, I say that in jest, but it's a true thing where people, there's less of a value on human life.
It is. It's absolutely true. It doesn't mean it's like good or bad or whatever. Well, it doesn't mean it's good.
So that's a bit of a political thing, kind of, if you reach for it.
I suppose. Well, yeah.
When they gonna have a global warming horror movie, bro?
Horror movie?
Yep.
They've had plenty of global warming movies.
No,
sci-fi
horror movies.
Horror movies?
Your skin gets blisters on it, bursting.
All right, well,
shit.
it's not global warming, but they had M. Night Shyamalan there.
Shyamalama Ding Dong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He had The Fucking Happening, which isn't really global warming, but that is a natural...
Wasn't that a bunch of people jumped off of buildings?
Well, that was the whole fucking end of it. Spoiler alert. Was, the trailer and everything.
Don't tell me there was a fucking twist at the end.
You haven't seen it? It's M. Night. Are you kidding me? Of course there was a fucking...
I've been able to predict every one of his movies. No, what? I'm sure there's a twist. There was no happening, just nothing happened at the end.
You want me to tell you?
The gravity was reversed and the people were jumping up or something. Yeah, tell me. I don't care.
All right. The twist ending in this, the happening, you saw the trailers and everything, right? It looked fucking awesome.
Mark Wahlberg was in it. People's phones stopped working and they just started jumping off of buildings.
I don't know. It looked awesome. I was on board. I watched it. The ending of the movie, the fucking plants and trees were sending out a pheromone to affect people, which is a thing in nature. Like, plants and shit do that. For, like, let's say ants that are fucking, like...
The fucking plants got us, is what you're telling me.
Yep, the plants got us, and it made us kill ourselves. And that's the same reaction right there that I had at the end of the movie. I'm like...
I feel like the reaction was supposed to be more profound to me.
Yeah, like...
Wow.
Exactly.
The plants got us. It's symbolic of us, what we're doing to the earth. The earth is fighting. We need to make a change, James. Who invented straws? Let's fucking kill his great-great-grandson.
Son of a bitch.
That fucking cocksucker.
Supposed to, but the reaction is the exact reaction you had that I had after I watched it. I'm like... and that was that. And about a year or so later, I'm like, that fucking movie sucked.
What they say about that movie, The Town or The Village, people be like, come on, man, you see a plane going over, or you hear a horn or something.
How long have you
He doesn't do horror movies. What happened at the end of Glass? I bet that was stupid. Did you see that? You didn't see that.
No, I still haven't seen Glass, and I know fucking Phil, the guy I work with, was like, you have to watch that entire trilogy.
No.
Have to watch
No, you
it.
don't. There's a guy that runs through...
Everyone
like
swears it's awesome.
No. Can't be.
It can't be.
That one stupid movie.
You saw Unbroken?
No.
And Split?
Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw Unbreakable 15 years ago. I loved it. Split was the guy with all the personalities.
Yeah, the 15
His personality as a little boy was stupid. The crowd laughed every time he did it. That really took me out of it. His personality as the woman was kind of dumb. I thought it was kind of a silly movie. I did like at the end, it was obvious where they were hidden in plain view. They were at the zoo. I thought that was really cool. There was cool parts in it, but those two characters took... I understand it's an impressive feat of acting to do all those different characters in one movie, but didn't dig it all that much. I did think it was cool they showed Bruce Willis at the end or whatever, but it was too far between the two movies. And then I saw part of the third one. They showed the guy running through a field, running like a leopard, and was like, "We're all superheroes." No, you're not. No, this is over.
Yeah, so no, I don't. I can't even remember what the fuck we talking about in order to get.
Stephen King wrote a cool book about cell phones making people kill themselves. That's back in another thing in the technology vein of it.
Yeah.
What do you think about? There's got to be a movie coming where GMOs and like genetically modified foods, like the killer tomatoes could kill us, but for fucking people up. That's probably been in a zombie movie, right?
That's probably been. I don't know about the zombie movie, but Thanksgiving Day or whatever the fuck that was. Fucking those killer turkeys. That's supposed to be like one of those cheesy like.
That sounds awesome.
Heaven sent gore fest.
We should review it.
We should. It's a fucking laundry list of movies I'd love to review, but. I'm sure there's fucking food additive movies. Sort of. I guess the stuff from back in the 80s.
Soylent Green.
Yeah, the alien shit that they fucking like discovered and like, oh fuck, it tastes good. Just throw it in our shit.
But people bitching about all this vegan stuff and these cage-free things.
They need to make a horror movie about vegans.
What about them? People eating them?
Yes, they did. Troll 2.
They should have a movie where the plants go crazy.
They're eating her, and then they're going to eat me. Oh my god!
How about a movie where the plants go crazy, but they only eat vegans? We're all just chilling, eating burgers. Like, look at that fucking idiot, fucking dummy.
Oh my god! I will add to that GoFundMe if they do that. Absolutely.
Opening scene: fish concert. And just the pine trees just start bending down and grabbing hippies and just
fish and shell
throwing them thousands of feet in the air, and it's playing in the arms of an angel.
Yes, please make that movie.
Yeah,
somebody out there, if by chance you see this and you're this far in,
it's called tofu. It's spelled like tofu, but it says it says tofu, but it says fuck you. Fuck you.
What a glorious movie that would be.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And you could redo a scene from one of Charlie's favorite scary movie where they could roll up a vegan and smoke him.
Yeah.
Plant could smoke a fucking vegan.
That's right.
With the hypocritical vegan that smokes weed and shit.
That is Charlie's favorite movie.
A freegan.
All of them.
You know what a freegan is?
What's that?
You only eat crap you find in dumpsters and people give to you, and you steal out of people's backyards, and acorns you find in the forest and shit.
But it's only plant. Only plant. Not dairy. Not any meat or anything like that.
Oh, you're fucking homeless. You're eating out of a garbage can. You want this donut? No, bro. I don't eat that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you're an asshole. Okay.
You got toxic shit in your body. You done with those grass clippings?
You gonna eat those leaves?
No. Here.
Can you stop standing on them?
Just kick them over to them. Oh, fucking wet, rotting leaves. Yeah, that's good. Where do you think horror movies are gonna go from here?
Global warming, GMOs.
Everything that hasn't been done yet, obviously.
Where do I think they will go? I think that this is something I realized that's pretty awesome. In the past, horror movies over time would have chicks that I believe started out being the main antagonist because they were susceptible to attack and such. And that was true, and somebody would save them. But over time, they became stronger, like the girl from Night of the Living Dead. And they had these women that would...
The remake.
Yeah. They had these women... Yeah, in the first one, she just screamed and ran around. That's a perfect example. In the remake, she ends up toting a gun and killing motherfuckers. But over time, the women stopped just running around being scared all the time. And sometimes they would turn badass at the end. And then sometimes they get crazy now, and sometimes they're just badass from the beginning with two zombies with no jaws and swords and shit.
Most of the fucking Friday the 13th movies was a woman protagonist in it.
Horror movies have accidentally become an awesome stage for feminism, I think, because of the strong female leads that they've been churning out over the years. It
really has. Which is funny because back in the day, all you heard was all these like fucking bandwagon or whatever to get on. It's like, all they are scantily clad women and everything.
Yeah.
Fast forward 15, 20 years.
Sigourney Weaver comes along with a fucking flamethrower, lights America's fucking heart on fire.
Not even that. It's like to now, fast forward to now, and like, I guarantee, like,
Resident Evil.
30, fuck yeah. I bet you like a third of these same women are like now on board with horror movies. Like, yeah, so they're not objectifying women, they're making them strong. And like,
yeah, fuck yeah.
You just.
So I think in the future we'll see even more of that. The women kicking ass.
No, you know what we're gonna see.
And the men will start wearing dresses and shit.
It's already happening that way. That's gonna be what it is. Like the men are gonna be the ones running away and fucking tripping and shit.
I think you're right. I think we'll see more of that in the future for sure.
My hair, bro.
More stupid special effects, not enough practical effects. We'll see. You know,
it's turning depressing.
I want to see 5-gallon buckets full of pig intestines thrown in people's faces and shit.
Hell yes, rotting.
Yeah,
yeah. Unplugged the fridge the night before.
Yep. Yeah, but I thought that was a pretty huge, not an epiphany, but just thinking about that today, the progression of women through horror movies, how they've ultimately become, through what started as them being meek and just, you know, being a good victim, being able to scream loud and people wanting to look at them. Yeah, because they started getting badass, and now they keep getting more badass in these movies.
The 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And you know what, actually, 60s is like really the last time...
Shout out bitches, man.
60s is really the last like era of... That was when it really kind of started making a shift into women becoming a strong protagonist.
And when, the 60s?
Yeah, because you had... In the 60s, you had Night of the Living Dead, which that woman was one of those catatonic screamers and just didn't really do anything. But at the same time, you had the one woman in Psycho...
And Haish. His mother.
His mother. Not...
Deborah Winger. Deborah Harry.
Deborah Harry?
Yeah.
No. I cannot fucking remember her name.
A lady actor from the 60s in horror movies?
Jamie Lee Curtis's mother there.
Amy Lee Curtis.
Whatever. She was a scream queen, but she was another one that she got killed off in like the first like 10 minutes or whatever the fuck it was with Psycho. Then you kind of veer into the 70s, and that's when it started to turn around. That's when you had like Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out, and the one chick at the end of that ends up getting away. Granted, she was screaming the whole time, but Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis, she was one that
It definitely had some chicks kicking ass in those movies for sure.
Yeah. And then once you got into the 80s, that's when the women really start to like, they started to be put on, I guess, a pedestal. That's when, like I said, the Friday 13th franchise.
In a movie, see, you can.
The Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street, and she was the one that ended up kicking the shit out of Freddy and the first Nightmare on Elm Street at the end of the movie.
First one, okay.
Yeah, at the end of it, she set up all those like fucking booby traps and everything, just kicked the shit out of Freddy the whole time, and fucking that was that.
Got to give it up to Sigourney Weaver though, and even
oh yeah, Sigourney Weaver,
Resident Evil 2, hell yeah.
Oh, Mia Jovovich.
Yeah. Badass broads there.
It's two complete. So there's fucking almost 4 decades apart of those two right there. But yeah, Alien in the 70s.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, Alien in the 70s.
Between then, there was nothing really happened. I don't think.
No, nothing at all. I think there was a gas shortage in the 70s.
I think there's going to be more silly premises for horror movies in the future.
There always
stemming from Saw, stuff like Truth or Dare. Just silly things like that.
Much like any genre movie, there's always going to be the really serious tone action movie, and then the over-the-top dumb action movie. You know, comedies, there'll be like the witty comedy, and then there'll be the stoner like spoof or slapstick comedy. You know, there'll always be that kind of stuff. There'll always be those super dark, really taking itself serious horror movies, and then there'll be the horror movies like
Don't Touch the Floor.
Gingerbread Man or whatever the fuck that was.
What if they made a horror movie out of Don't Touch the Floor?
I would not be surprised.
In the theater, the poster says, "Don't touch the floor. The floor is lava."
The floor will touch you.
It shows people wake up in their house and they're like, "Oh, the floor is lava. We gotta jump, oh, honey, jump on the nightstand. Jump on the night. Throw me the cat. Ah!" Cat
Save yourself.
A serious movie, but just don't touch the floor.
We got to make that movie. We should make that movie. We got the green screen and shit. We could put it down. I could get fucking pictures of lava and shit.
Make a fake. Make like a
5-minute movie. We're gonna discuss it right now.
We'll be all sweaty and just have one clip. Be like, whatever you do, don't touch the floor. Like all dramatic and shit.
I'll make it a new trailer. That should be a new segment.
5 different times we'll say don't touch the floor. Don't touch the floor.
That should be a new segment on this channel. This whole channel is we'll do a thing where we just make fucking stupid movie trailers. Just like fucking 1 or 1.5 minute fucking trailer.
Charlie dies and then everyone.
Charlie dies and everyone. See.
There's one though called The Life of Charlie, and he dies right in the beginning, and it's just about us.
And then the whole thing is just a white screen. Just show a sombrero sitting in a chair.
One thing I'd like to see in the future of horror movies is more real life freaks and amputees and shit.
Yeah, because those are the ones like when they happen, like in the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
That's what I was looking for. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, when the guy with no legs was crawling on the pipes above him, just kind of fell down.
Oh, okay,
because that you didn't see coming. Like, holy shit!
What movie was it? I think it might have been Event Horizon. The footage they weren't allowed to show. They just showed they had amputees and put fake limbs on them and just like ripped their legs off. And back then people were watching this in the theater like, is this real? Like, what the fuck are you showing us? I'd love to see more shit like that. Like get on Casey Rad with the I should use his wrestling name, Kevin Bouffard. He's got whatever. He's got the hole in his chest, and if you put a squib in there and like a bunch of meat and shit and did like a squib shot, but it blew like guts, like he could be bare chested and get shot with it and go, you know.
Yeah.
Use more freaks in these movies. Get these fucking people some money. Their lives are fucked up. Get somebody with no jaw and a fake jaw, rip it off, you know.
What an awful injury that would be.
Having no jaw.
Yeah. Or birth defect or whatever.
You got to keep your fucking nose up if that happens to you, bro. That's all you can do. When you go swimming, you got to keep your nose up too. And it rains, keep that shit down.
That's right.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
What if you're swimming when it rains?
You have to just have a wet sponge in the top of your mouth all the time or something. Just have a bunch of Oreos smashed up in there.
I love Oreos. I haven't had any in a long time.
Yeah. What's your favorite kind?
Double stuff.
What's your favorite novelty kind of Oreos? No, double stuff's your favorite kind of porn, you said, right?
Oh, yeah, Oreos.
What's your favorite fuck scene in a horror movie?
Mega stuff. No, my novelty kind, most stuff.
Okay, the most? That's too much. Too much stuff.
It is a lot of stuff.
I like peanut butter, man. A fudge, I was thinking
actually,
of the fudge ones today.
You know what's really good is the most stuff. For the one I bought those one time.
Me too.
I picked them up and I'm like, this is insane. This is fucking diabetes and insane amount of frosting. Probably the best kind of novelty kind are the thin mint ones.
They're actually good, the thin ones.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I picked up those double stuffs in the store and I was thinking, like, can I get a fucking 4-pack of these at the candy rack at the register? Like, because I know if I get the whole thing, I'm going to get high and eat them all. And I did. I just wanted fucking 4 of them. But they came in the square pack as opposed to the rectangular one, so you kind of feel like less of a piece of shit, I guess, but they were good.
Everything's about how you feel now. That's what marketing is, fucking movies. It all goes into food. Yeah. Now they call king size, share size.
That's a fat thing, though. That's so they can sell shit to fat fucks and, you know.
Super size is now family size.
I have this thing of 40 Butterfinger BBs. We know you're not going to eat it all in traffic.
This is for the party you're having, isn't it? Of course.
I was listening to them talk about that on a podcast recently, saying how they would order so much Chinese food that they'd give them like 8 sets of utensils, and like, they don't know, it's all for me. What do you think? What do you think the future of horror movies holds? What advances in technology could lend to the? We're not going to space anymore.
It's not going to be
Area 51.
We won't
movie.
go. Jesus Christ!
Give me a fucking monster right now.
Is
that drywall, bro? I will punch through that fucking. I will shotgun a monster and punch through that drywall with my face.
That is. Yeah, they all are. No, not over there. Right. Those are. It's not the same kind of fucking. The old apartment I was in before I got this house. That wall, that drywall.
You must have punched through so much drywall there.
No, it was fucking concrete. I would bend nails trying to get through that shit. I want that in this house. It's all fire stopper fucking walls. That's what I want in this house, but that's expensive. The fire stopper. I don't.
Firestarter. That's a fire horror movie.
It was.
That's an interesting one. Fire's the bad guy.
I don't know where horror movies are gonna go as far as like the story, but like VR is like coming out big now, and it'd be interesting to see. I mean, they're doing it with video games and stuff. They're
I don't want to get jump scared in 3D.
And not 3D, but where you're actually in the movie. Like,
oh, you can walk around and see shit going on.
Even if it's kind of a semi-rail kind of thing. Where you walk along and you're given this area you can explore, but you're really kind of guided in a direction.
You hide in a box and there's a hole in it and you could see him fucking kill somebody outside of it.
Yeah, like, I think that would be interesting.
And they fucking throw blood in your face and throw chicken guts at you and stuff.
Really gimmicky, but interesting. As far as, like, story-wise, where else can we go? Everything's going to be up to date.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been, like I said, leprechauns in space with zombies, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that would be one end of the spectrum, but as far as...
Fucking octopus with 8 chainsaws living on a ranch.
See, that's like a sitcom.
Wow. You been reading my diary again, man? I got a couple movie ideas, horror movies I was thinking about.
You know what they haven't done before you get into that? You know what they haven't done in a long time? Is the whole, like, Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein and Wolfman kind of deal. Let's see, like, fucking...
A crossover with a...
Yeah, with comedy duo. Like, let's see...
Seth Rogen has to cut off James Franco's legs to escape Jigsaw or something.
That would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to see something like that.
How, like, when they pull knives out of each other or whatever, you know, they bite each other, you know, whatever they have to do in the movies. If it was just, like, dark.
You gotta suck my dick. I don't want to suck you. You have to suck my dick. We're gonna fucking die.
Just cut it off.
Yeah. Are you sure you want me to cut it off? Just please cut it off. I'm gonna cut it off.
So you're saying established horror movie monsters or...
Franchise.
Yeah, with comedy crossover?
Yeah, with established crossover, like back then. Like, in the 70s, it would have been Cheech and Chong. Like,
Why the
now
fuck did they even do that in the 70s? Was just because it was like 3 channels, and they're like, if we don't want them to watch this channel, that's weird.
Whatever the reason, like, it would be interesting to just one. I don't need to see a whole bunch, but just one. I'd like to see that. Like, see it be gory, see it have, like, the horror, everything, but throw in 2 comedy characters.
Didn't they have Scott Steiner talking shit to Jigsaw? And I swear Jigsaw was on a wrestling show.
Scott Steiner does not count, and that doesn't count. That whole thing doesn't count. I don't know if he was or not, but that
not wrestling. Okay,
not horror things in or whatever. I'm talking about a horror movie with 2 other people injected in it, or 3 or 1 or whatever. I think it'd be better. I think a comedy duo is the best. Like,
who would it be then, if not James Franco and Seth Rogen? 2 or 3 of the Workaholics guys. Kenny Powers, and
Kenny Powers would be fucking great.
Just him playing twins. Kenny Powers and Dice Clay, both playing twins.
I think your first idea was fantastic. Kenny Powers and his twin brother Lenny Powers.
Yeah, he's all uptight and shit.
I think that would be fantastic. But they both like just assholes to each other the whole entire fucking time.
Yeah. Who would the monster be though?
That would be would it be better if it was like a lumbering silent thing?
I was thinking somebody who talked or somebody who didn't.
Because then it would either be Michael Myers or something like that, or Freddy Krueger, who's a witty fucking like.
With Freddy Krueger, that would be fucking. That would be great.
That would be.
That's an excellent.
It would be off the
wall.
What
about the Leprechaun? Shows up.
That's another one.
In Sunnyvale, he's with the Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah. That would be an interesting one. That would be All
right, let me throw some movie ideas at you. Zombie Mexicans.
Yeah, we already discussed that about 10 minutes ago.
Oh yeah. What about just on the other side of the wall? They just can't get over it.
Here's a crossover.
And then at the end, they realize they're just sleepy.
We were wrong the whole time. They're just sleepy.
And he's like, oh, senor.
Here's a crossover that I want to see, and a lot of people, a lot of fans of all 3 franchises really want to see. It was in production.
Freddy, Jason, and Michael
Ash.
Myers.
No,
and Ash. Fuck out of here. That'd be amazing.
It's been a comic
told
series.
Me about that, yeah.
And like it's a gold mine just sitting there. And I'm so shocked they haven't done.
I don't even like Freddy Krueger. I love Ash. All things Bruce Campbell. I
love Freddy. I love Jason. I love Ash. So any 3 of them in there, and that would be the only time. I'm such a Freddy mark, like Godzilla or Jason. I can't fucking remember who the fuck he is.
Godzilla.
So obviously everything I'm saying now is just bullshit. But anyway, so I have such a Jason mark. Like I'd hate it if he lost anything. That would be the one franchise where I'd be like, fucking Ash wins. Has to.
Yeah.
Has to win.
Yeah.
He has to beat them, both of them.
Yeah.
And like the whole story was they're like Freddy was a deadite and like controlled Jason or some shit like that. Something like that. At
some point, Ash has to shoot off Freddy's hand with a shotgun, and the hand comes after him like the movie, but with the glove on.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah, right. Like anything like that.
What do you think about this movie? Fat fuck zombies, just big fat 300-pound zombies just falling on you.
Like Jenny Craig, fucking something in the Jenny Craig diet thing just goes awry, and all of a sudden just fucking twists out. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be zombies.
No,
just
there's like pork rind flavored Dr. or Mountain Dew they come out with, and whoever tries it just turns into a zombie. And they move like 28 days later, but they're just so fat that really they move like regular zombies. And just with Dr. Pepper pouring out of them and shit. Just fat fuck zombies. And like you don't have to barricade the door, you can just get through an open doorway and they just get stuck in it.
That would be a great comedy horror movie. That would be like Shaun of the Dead kind of deal. That would be fantastic.
If all the fat people it'd be kind of great if it really happened, wouldn't it?
It would be. I think I would just sit on my porch and just be like, actually, I'll go on a second story somewhere and be like,
I'd put on my running shoes and go pickpocketing.
I didn't even fucking put on my power walking shoes and I'd be good.
This must be $100. It's 100 McDonald's coupons. What the fuck?
That would be great.
Yeah, that's my two big ideas. All right, I got another. This is a whole horror movie idea. You ready for this one? It's a singles cruise. All these people are fucking, right? Tsunami, bam, wash up on a desert island. And there's a Cloverfield type monster circling the fucking island, killing shit. So you already have a natural disaster with the tsunami. Then they're stranded, so it's a stranded movie. Then there's a monster out there, so it's a big monster movie. And then then there's villagers that are capturing them and torturing them and shit.
So what would be the focal point of the movie, though? Like, who would be the main antagonist?
The monster swimming around, the tsunami, and then the villagers. They start capturing these people and torture them and sacrifice them. They think it's all good at first. They get a couple of the guys and they're like, yeah, impregnate our women here. And they do it and they fucking cut their dicks off and the women eat them. And they start, cutting these people apart, bloodletting ceremonies or torturing these people.
I think the monsters should come in after the fact. Like, they finally get away from that and like start to go out.
Oh, wait.
Right,
so they're getting abducted by these villagers and shit, and then they get to the point where they're surviving so long on this island. It's also a survival drama. They have to start eating each other because they're running out of food. And also, there's a virus on the island that the villagers are immune to, but they can get themselves, so they start falling apart.
So they're like carriers.
Yeah. They start, their eyes their teeth will fall out, and they start rotting, their tongue falls out.
Rotting alive.
And then they still want to eat. So they're effectively zombies.
This is like an early Peter Jackson fucking gore fest.
Then there's zombies on there too, so they got to do the cannibalism thing. And then fucking aliens show up and they have to side with...
Because why the fuck not?
They side with the villagers to fight the aliens, but then you find out that there's a fucking evil Nazi doctor on the island and the whole thing is a simulation.
So it's like the Island of Dr. Moreau. Any monster movie, like we'll say Cloverfield, Island of Dr. Moreau, Alien, Green Inferno, or Cannibal Holocaust.
Survival, like Alive, the movie Alive.
Mix with Alive.
And there's a side story that's like that Mel Gibson movie where they're in the jungle. There's a whole side story for the villagers too.
That's I'm on board with that.
Yep.
I'd be really interested to see like this fucking movie. I don't know where it's going. I don't know where I just came from.
There's just 7 antagonists.
But I have to watch. Yeah. And you know what would be a really good plot twist in that movie is the everyone that got there to begin with, shipwrecked from the tsunami and the cruise, are all fucking like pedophile rich businessmen. So there are no fucking protagonists in the movie at all.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The entire movie is just, you actually vote for the cliche antagonists who actually end up being the protagonists, for the protagonists that came in, they're actually the antagonists. So
it's a pedo sex cruise with just fat businessmen.
It's a sci-fi horror pedo sex cruise.
And immediately when they wash up, you're like, oh man, I hope these pedos dies. I hope all these poor little boys, sex slaves, survive till the end though. And before anybody, they're on the island for an hour, and the businessmen are like, well, eat the boys. Then they just eat them all.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be fucked. Yeah.
All right. You start designing the monster.
All right.
Another thing I thought we could do, this would be pretty quick probably. I was thinking how there really is no such thing as a horror movie. Because obviously horror, thriller, suspense all blends together. But also even if you take a movie like Friday the 13th, that's at least a third a teen movie. There's a lot of... So what do you think?
Absolutely.
All right, we'll go with different movie genres and how horror connects to them. Comedy, Shaun of the Dead would be the number one for me, obviously. Not your number one even, but it's just an example of it.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Life After Beth?
No.
It's on Netflix. It's very good. It's a zombie movie.
Yeah.
Dead Alive. That is also an example of another one I got coming up. The Romance.
That's real. That's real.
That's a romance gore comedy.
Yeah, but that's real loose comedy and real loose romance. That's more of just a classic B-side horror flick in the 80s.
It is a romance because in the heart of it, what does it say on the back of the box? Something about the girl. And they get together at the end, man.
Yeah, but that happens in a lot of horror movies.
So it's at least a quarter romance movie.
Fine, I'll give it to you.
Sci-fi, Alien, Event Horizon, obviously. A Western horror movie, I couldn't really think of one. I'm sure there is one. But
Tremors.
Yeah. All right, that is a Western. They wear cowboy shit. They're in the desert and such.
That's like Western, loose Western horror monster movie.
I had Tremors written down as being one of the locations, like how Jaws fucked up the ocean for people. Tremors, like, let's make the desert fucked up for people.
Yeah.
Big worm can just get you. There's nothing out in the desert. Where is it? Underneath you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's a good one, Western, yeah.
I'm sure there's other ones too, but
Adventure, that's all of them. For crime, you said fucking the Emily Rose one.
Yeah.
Well, legal is actually crime and legal. I kind of, with crime, I meant more like a mobster movie. Thinner has a little bit of mob in it.
Does it? I haven't watched that movie since like
he's got a mob
90,
buddy,
whatever, when it came out.
Thinner's also a legal one too, kind of, because he's a lawyer. But what you said, the Emily Rose one with all the court stuff, is an excellent example of legal stuff in a horror movie.
That entire movie was like 50-50. So, what about fantasy?
I didn't even write that one down because I thought they kind of all are.
Well, I mean,
Pumpkin,
I don't mean,
whatever.
I don't mean that. I mean fantasy is in like
The
Lord of the
evil
Rings
wizard.
and like that kind of shit.
What's a gory type of thing with medieval type of shit? A horror thing.
The only thing you can think of would be Army of Darkness, but that really, I don't even consider that horror, honestly.
I had that down as an example of an epic, which I don't really know what it is, but I think an epic is just an insane tale. So that's what I had down for that. So we're on a horror fantasy movie.
Yeah, I don't.
What about?
There's those fantasy movies that have a lot of dark imagery, but
the one with J-Lo that I never saw. That's supposed to be kind of good. Labyrinth or something.
No,
what's it called? What's it called?
No, not Labyrinth. That was.
It's not Pandora's. It's something.
No, The Cell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a fantasy movie?
Not really. That's more pseudoscience.
Okay.
That was the one where she actually goes into the killer's mind. So I guess it's got fantasy imagery, I guess.
Okay. Oh, that's the In the Mind. Maybe I did see that.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird shit and stuff. That movie, I think that's a fucking underrated movie, especially for a more modern
I'd like to see
thriller.
That
That's like if you take Silence of the Lambs and throw it in. I don't even know what you compare. Like,
that's another good example of a crime type.
Yeah, absolutely.
Legal. Police.
Yeah, I don't even know. I'd say The Matrix, but not even really, because The Matrix is more just computer simulation.
Matrix is not good. It's not a good movie.
But just in comparison, like, I don't know. All I know is The Cell is not mentioned in a lot of people's like favorite horror movies and stuff, or any kind of thriller or anything like that. But that is definitely a good movie.
I'm still trying to think of a good fantasy horror movie.
I don't know. There's, like I said, there's a lot of fantasy movies that have dark images and stuff, and just kind of like those undertones. But
oh yeah, even like Legend and shit.
Yeah, but as far as like actual horror something, I don't know. Not right offhand.
All right, now this is one you're gonna have to help me with. Noir. Is there any horror noir movies? That's just like a dark, gritty detective type of. The main character narrates it himself, typically type of thing. She was an alien. She came into my life.
I guess you could say. Well, no. Well, like.
Anything like a detective or anything hunting down a monster or something like that.
I don't know.
It's funny, I had to ask you the question. I'm like, what do you think is a noir movie? Also, I don't know what that is.
A comic book version would be Dick Tracy.
Mm-hmm. Sin City.
Yeah, Sin City. Yeah, but horror movie, I don't know. I don't know if it's ever been done. Maybe it has on a small scale, but
You won't put it up right there. It won't be right there, will it? No.
the movie that doesn't exist to us right now.
If we find it.
If I find it, yeah.
All right, war movie, like World War Z, maybe. Not really. No.
No, what was that one that just came out with the Nazi zombies there?
Jacob's Ladder. Fucking love that movie.
Yeah,
They're in Vietnam. They get that's how they hallucinate.
Well, I guess I wouldn't really consider that a true horror movie. But it definitely is fucking like
Nazi
off the
zombies.
wall.
You're telling me?
Yeah, it came out. I think it was last year. Like within the last year, anyway. It was a World War II movie, and it was all fucking. It was like the Nazi zombies, like the game mode in fucking whatever Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
But it was shot. It looked like it was shot serious, but that's what it was. It's like Nazi fucking zombies. So
All right.
but aside that was a serious one that had like a decent budget. It looks like, and actually like looked interesting. Like I was like, I'd watch that. But then there's been other fucking ones that have bad budget, bad acting. All like I think there's one that is actually called like Nazi Zombies or Zombie Nazis or something like that. It's on Netflix, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were frozen or something.
Yeah.
So there's a good version.
Like
of
the cover of the thing or whatever, the movie poster was like half of a fucking Nazi zombie head like sitting in snow or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I remember that.
So yeah, that one's been done. At least plenty of Nazi fucking zombies.
Yes. All right. What about a disaster horror movie? Like a disaster could, if you wanted to stretch for it, could be any type of King Kong type of thing. Fucking zombie tidal wave.
You know what I just thought
Sharknado.
of? You know what I just fucking thought of? Now this is going way back in our conversation. We're talking about GMOs and all those fucking horror movies and stuff like that.
Yep.
Have anything been done? Yes. The movie from the 77, 79, Prophecy.
77. No, I'm familiar with the poster of that. That's in one of those
That was
crazy
about
books.
a mutated fucking bear.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
The Prophecy.
From food that he had or something?
Something like that. I think it's chemicals or some shit like that. So there you go.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Disaster, Sharknado.
Disaster.
Get that one out of the way.
Yeah. What else are you
superhero? That's a kind of a hard one. Superhero movie. Resident Evil. She's a fucking superhero, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Sports. Not any good ones that I can think of, or any that I can think of, really. Varsity, The Faculty. They played football in that, and then killed teachers and had to.
That's stretching it.
There's probably some shitty hockey movies.
The Faculty was really a rehash of Invaders from Mars, which was a rehash of another fucking movie.
Jason and the Aristocrats.
I love The Faculty. I thought that was awesome. Awesome movie. And I love Invaders from Mars. I love that movie too. The 80s remake.
Sports and horror movies don't go too well together, I don't think.
Comedy horror. Another comedy horror that I just thought of. Mars Attacks.
That is pretty. They do burn people to skeletons and have some pretty gnarly death scenes.
That was more comedy, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's more comedy sci-fi horror.
There's never been a killer baseball player, killer football player, fucking killer hockey guy, fencing guy.
Friday the 13th.
Killer hockey guy. Yeah, there's your sports movie. All right. Parody. There's fucking scary movie.
How many?
I think there's 7 of them.
I mean, just parody movies of horror in general.
Gangster, Tales from the Hood, porn. Any horror movies with full penetration?
Well, there's porn movies that are like themed with horror.
Yeah.
Whatever, but I don't know.
Zombie strippers and shit.
Zombie strippers. Yeah.
That's kind of a porn.
I guess. It has porn star in it.
Piranha 3D, all like chicks with their titties bouncing, getting eaten by piranhas and shit.
Sucked. I own it. No, I
That
don't.
sucked. I got it. Director's cut. Blu-ray and DVD.
I might.
Can I borrow it now?
I have the original.
Martial arts. Some Tarantino shit. Dusk Till Dawn, maybe? No. Karate fucking vampire? There's got to be a karate vampire, right?
What was it, Halloween Resurrection, where fucking
Buster Rhymes.
Buster Rhymes is ninja fucking fighting Michael Myers.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
Yes. All right.
And I like Buster Rhymes.
I'll say this. So do I, but I'll say this. This might be an unpopular opinion to a lot of fans of the franchise. I think Halloween, Michael Myers should have ended after 2. And that would have been it. I think their idea of part 3, I was completely on board with, or I am completely on board with, when they were just going to take in an anthology series.
That's ridiculous.
And it would have been whatever Halloween.
I wish they stopped making these movies when I was 4, and then there was just the 2 of them, and then I could watch those that were made before when I was shitting in my pants, and then the 12 movies I was able to watch after that. I wish I didn't see them at all.
No, they should.
Wish it was done.
The Michael Myers aspect of it. They should have kept the Halloween series going, but like when part 3 came out, it was supposed to be they were going to take it in the end.
But then Michael Myers is going to come back as the neighbor or something. Well, he always does.
The thing with that is, like, would Michael Myers have become such a cult, or one of the big fucking slashers of the time? I don't know.
That's a hipster ass reply. That you're like, I wish they only had 2 out of those 15 movies.
No, because I'm really interested to see what would have happened if they.
Oh, you mean if they kept going with it? I understand.
They kept going
with
the anthology series, like Halloween 4 would have been something completely different. Like Halloween 3 was supernatural, like it was all supernatural with dealing with Stonehenge and all shit like that, like with robots, fucking. Like
Resident Evil is a martial arts horror movie. Bitch can fight.
I don't know. I think that's just a gory martial arts.
Is there like samurai zombies or anything? Ninja zombies? Zombies versus ninjas?
I'm sure there's. I bet you if you search that, something along those lines will come up.
All right, how about a horror musical? Maybe like the ones where they would sit and play the fucking violin.
Sweeney Todd.
Oh, word! Oh my God, I didn't think anybody could get one.
Yep. Sweeney Todd.
I saw half an hour of that on TV. I really liked it.
That is a horror. That is exactly a horror musical. That's what it is.
Excellent. Fucking excellent. Biography. I like about Henry Lee Lucas. Like, there's plenty of biography.
Yeah, I mean, any serial killer, anything like that.
Mystery. I got the Devil in the Elevator one. Scream. And you wondering who did it the whole time.
All right. The whodunit kind of movie.
Exploitation. Blackula.
Fucking. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That is a 70 exploitation horror movie.
Okay.
That's exactly what that is.
And then I got a heist. This is a hard one. I got one, but it's relatively new.
A heist horror movie?
Yeah, like robbing a bank or stealing a diamond.
Yeah.
Dusk Till Dawn. That's more of a robbery crime type of shit.
Well, that started off as a
heist. I feel is when they get their thing at the end, or trying to anyway. When it builds to.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one that's not really.
Saw a movie a couple years ago or last year called The Vault. It was about starred Clint Eastwood's daughter, who looks like an alien and is super fucking hot in a weird way. Big fucking eyes and weird big head and shit. Eyes all far apart. Call me. Spines on her back.
Oh.
Crippled, bald, retarded. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, they were casing.
I'll touch it.
She had gotten a job in the bank, and there was they had a customer. They all converged to try to rob this bank, but they ended up locked in a vault with an employee that was trying to help them, and it was James Franco with a mustache. And at the end, they found out he was a ghost from the 70s that like trapped them in the vault and got them fucked over, and then they got killed in the end or some shit, or one of them got away. And but yeah, he was a ghost that was They asked the bank manager about him at the end. He was like, "What do you mean? We don't have anybody working there." And then they saw a picture of him like on the wall from 1960 or something like that. So that's the only heist horror movie I could think of. And even that's more of a ghost type, but it's a shoot 'em up thing. And the last one was Legal. That's like thinner. We already went through a bunch of Legal. What about a kids horror movie? It's that Rob Zombie one. El Super Beasto.
Oh, that cartoon one.
That sucked.
Any Goosebumps movie?
Yeah. Kids horror,
they're geared toward kids.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be geared toward kids. It doesn't look like it is, but our Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Isn't that out already?
I think it might be.
It is.
But that one I'm interested to see. It
Yeah.
doesn't look like it's geared toward kids. The books were geared toward kids.
The art was not. I want to see.
No,
I hope they have the story about the girl with the spiders coming out of her face. That was awesome.
I have all those fucking books. I love those books.
Oh god, some of the art in that was fucking disturbing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What
Awesome
Stephen
shit.
Kamal, I think his name is, the artist.
All right. Shout out Stephen Kamal.
Awesome fucking artist.
Call me. I'm just putting the fucking big nut out there, man. You know,
Why not?
Maybe he's got a good looking sister.
Yeah, you never know.
Brother.
But yeah, I'd be interested to see that. Fuck, I just thought of a horror romance movie. It just popped in my head, and I can't remember what it was now.
Oh, there's plenty of those, I'm sure. Basket Case. I'm trying to get the girl on that one.
Well, so I guess you could consider the first Mummy a horror romance movie, but I had one that was
I'm all wrapped up in you.
like a perfect example for it, and I can't fucking remember what it was.
I'm fucking big time into mummies again.
Are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I came back around full circle, man.
That's usually how
It's
it
like
happens.
it's like zombie beef jerky.
It's like when you watch something when you're a kid and you love it, and then you get a little older and you're like, this is stupid, but then you get older yet, and then you're like, you know what? I have
I'm
appreciation
into
for it.
bestiality porn again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta like get away from it for a while.
I
and
saw
then
the
get back
live
to it.
stuff on the farm. Like I was in this, like it was like being in the studio, and like that got me off for a while, like literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
But like the smell gets to you, and then like you grow up, and you're like, ah, these girls are softer than this fucking horse, and then, but then you become an adult again, and it becomes available on the internet, which is why it's beautiful. And it's
Speaking of which, I gotta clear my history.
you got a hard drive you got to destroy.
Shh.
Give it to Charlie.
No, that's Charlie. He's good at that.
Yeah. That's where he is now. He's out in the canoe right now. Flipping away his save characters.
Yeah. I told you not to bother me when I'm getting rid of my saves.
You don't understand how hard it is to get a level 85 mage on Final Fantasy VIII. I gotta throw this in the river or somebody else is gonna profit off of my... Okay, Charlie.
Really fucking pisses me off. I can't remember what that romantic fucking horror movie was.
Really pisses me off I'm not wearing the fucking gaming title around my fucking waist right now.
Really pisses me off that no one's fucking like collaborated yet and doing this shit and putting it together.
We need brackets. We need... Charlie's no-shown multiple times by now. We got when
So let's fucking write brackets. We'll do that right now. We're gonna fucking start this. We're gonna design this right now.
1, 2, 3... Quackers, Monterey, Bra, and there's Charlie, Queso. We're just going to X him out because he's already disqualified. He's not going to show up. And then Rich is not going to show up either, so we're going to go ahead and disqualify him too. That means me and you go to the semis, so we're in the finals, bro.
Yeah!
I'm going to
All
fucking
right.
kill you.
No, you won't.
You're going to fucking die.
We're gonna fuck. Oh wait, here's the thing. In all seriousness, sort of, is this gonna be only gaming, like video games, or is this gonna be a whole plethora?
It's your belt, man. We can play board games. I'll throw some lawn darts. You know, somersault.
I think it should be
competitions.
like everything, like it originally was supposed to be.
You can't fucking tell me that like who can
Especially
do the
'cause
most
there's-
cartwheels or some shit. I'm not doing that. I'm not losing the title belt because I can't do a cartwheel. All right.
I know a weakness. I challenge you to a cartwheel off.
Pretty sure Charlie
Shit.
can't do a fucking cartwheel either.
What if he tries? He
He'd be happy
falls. Oh,
if he fucking became paralyzed from the waist down. He'd be like, "Oh, this is horrible, guys. Well, where's the Xbox controller?"
yeah. I think we should do that, especially because I'm not redoing that fucking belt and taking the Monopoly Man and chess piece off the outside side plates.
No.
All right, so it'll be all sorts of games, but like I said before, it'll be all short games. We're not going to have like an hour-long marathon for one match. It'll be like 5, maybe 10 minutes.
Yep. I'm gonna win that bitch. I'm gonna immediately throw it on the ground. I'm gonna wear it upside down. I'm gonna cut promos on Charlie. I'm gonna show up at his house in the middle of the night in his yard, just yelling shit, playing my theme music on a fucking boombox on my shoulder.
Like that fucking, what the movie is that when you're holding out?
John Cusack? Yeah, no, not that.
Oh yes, that's what you'll be doing.
What is that called? That's not High Fidelity. That's
I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's called fucking queso. Get and listen to fucking whatever music.
Whatever songs I can find that have the word Charlie in them.
Outside.
Just all Charlie Daniels band I'll be playing.
Charlie in the trees.
The devil went down to Georgia. I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna meet some friends of mine. I'm gonna wear your intestines like a scarf, you piece of shit.
I'll get you a dubstep version of it or some shit.
Oh god.
Charlie's gonna wake up. The fuck? Get out of here. We'll call the cops. No, you won't. They'll take you away.
I'm gonna drink 2 gallons of your blood and piss on your fucking grave.
Either that or I'll get you a polka version to take up there.
A what?
A polka version.
A what? Oh, you know I'm afraid of Polish people, dude. Oh, I've never.
So you're gonna talk shit at the same time, looking over your back the whole time, like I'm gonna.
I've never understood in my life.
I'm gonna fuck you up.
Polka is Polish music, right? And aren't Polish people called Polskis? Polskis? Is that
Polskis?
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Is polka Polish?
Is it?
I don't know. If polka's Polish, it's got to be. We should have cut this off like 2 minutes ago. This is all unusable. I killed a guy the other night.
Really?
No, it was not. It was a little kid.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Yeah.
You know what this feels like? We're just starting the podcast over.
I didn't pay taxes for 3 years, dude.
Fucking, I know.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean,
I got a dick this big, not around. The in between.
I
my
was looking at
fingers.
the 3 fingers. Like that's fucking weird.
This big. This big.
3?
I can hardly even use the thing. The first time I had sex, I put it in the girl's urethra. That's how tiny my fucking dick is.
I'm done.